I walked into my autistic daughter's room and saw her recording a video of herself, talking about her LA Boo-Boo collection. She slammed her laptop shut the second she saw me. Her face went bright red. "Mom, get out." She turned away from me completely. "Honey, please just go." Her voice cracked. I backed out and closed the door. My chest felt tight. Willow was 15 and she'd been so sad lately. Kids at school avoided her like a plague. She ate lunch alone, came home quiet. But just now talking to that camera, she looked actually happy for the first time in months. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about her smile, her excitement. So I grabbed my laptop and searched for her LA Boo-Boo blog. Found it in 10 minutes, 3 videos. 0 followers, 0 comments. So I created an anonymous account right there. I thought about how if Willow found out, I knew she'd be mortified. How she'd probably delete it. But then I thought about silently cheer, bring her on, and how that had put the biggest smile on her face. So I clicked follow and left a comment. "Your collection is amazing." The next morning, I was doing dishes when I heard a gasp from upstairs. Then footsteps, fast pace. Willow's door opened, then closed. I walked up quietly through the crack in her door. I could see her staring at her laptop screen. She kept refreshing the page. Then she hugged her laptop against her chest and smiled bigger than I've seen in months. I backed away before she could see me. I checked her blog on my phone. She'd hearted my comment and responded. "Which LA Boo-Boo should I talk about next?" I replied, "All of them." Over the next few weeks, Willow started change. I passed her room and hear her genuinely laughing, talking about her labubus. One day I saw her humming while doing homework. She hadn't hummed in forever. I watched every video. One of them she was apologizing about her audio. "Sorry if you can't hear me well. I don't have equipment." I closed the laptop and a mischievous grin formed on my face. The next morning at breakfast, I casually told her I won my company raffle yesterday. They gave me these fancy noise-canceling headphones, but I have no use for them. "You want them?" I felt her literally perk up from behind me. "Mom, are you serious?" I turned around and smiled at her. "Of course, sweetie." That night she made a new video and her audio was crystal clear. I left a comment, "Your audio sounds amazing now." A week later, I noticed she was struggling to show details in a video. "I wish you could see this better." That weekend I found a HD camera for her at a garage sale. Her next video had a crispness that made the pastel colors of her figures absolutely pop. I watched it from the kitchen island, nursing a lukewarm cup of coffee. The camera captured the intricate fur textures of her labubus and the subtle gradient of their oversized, mischievous ears. More importantly, it captured the subtle micro-expressions on Willow's face. When she unboxed a rare secret figure, a velvet-textured labubu dressed as a tiny astronaut, her eyes went completely round. She flapped her hands quickly by her sides, a physical manifestation of joy she usually suppressed outside her bedroom walls. "Look at the visor," she whispered to the lens, holding it up. "The paint job is metallic, not matte like the standard series. This is statistically a 1 in 144 chance." Under my anonymous handle, Monster Hugs 99, I typed, "The metallic finish is incredible. Your luck is insane today." I've been hunting for that one for months. I had spent 3 hours the night before reading Reddit threads just to understand the blind box pull ratios, so I sounded like a legitimate collector, not a middle-aged mother trying to artificially inflate her daughter's self-esteem. It worked. A minute later, a notification popped up. Willow had pinned my comment to the top of the section. Over the next 3 months, something incredible happened. The algorithm, that mysterious invisible force that dictates the internet, finally noticed her. It started with a video where Willow meticulously categorized her collection by texture, release date, and color palette. It was pure, unfiltered autistic joy and deep dive logic. People loved it. I woke up one Tuesday, checked her page, and nearly dropped my phone. The video had 40,000 views. Her subscriber count had jumped from a meager 12, mostly me and maybe a few bots, to 2,000. When Willow came down for breakfast that morning, she looked dazed. She was holding her phone with both hands, staring at the screen. She didn't even look up when I slid a plate of toast toward her. "Mom," she breathed. "Yes, sweetie. I think my phone is broken. The numbers keep changing." "What numbers?" I asked, feigning total ignorance while my heart hammered against my ribs. She turned the screen toward me. "People are watching me. Real people. They're asking questions about the Macaron series. Someone asked for my opinion on the upcoming holiday drop." Her voice trembled, walking a tightrope between terror and elation. "Wow," I said softly, wiping my hands on a dish towel. "That's wonderful. Willow, how does it make you feel?" "Seen," she said simply. That one word broke me. I turned around to wash a perfectly clean pan just so She wouldn't see my eyes watering. As her channel grew, my role shifted. I was no longer her sole audience. I was just a drop in an ocean of fans. I kept commenting as Monster Hugs 99, but my comments began to get buried under hundreds of others. It was a bittersweet kind of grief. I was losing my private connection with her, but it was exactly what I had wanted. She was finding her tribe. She started walking taller. At school, she was still quiet, but the heavy, suffocating sadness had lifted. She started wearing a little Labubu keychain on her backpack. When kids ignored her, she didn't seem to care as much. She had a whole world waiting for her in her bedroom. But the internet is not a purely kind place. It happened on a Friday. Willow had just uploaded a video where she got so excited about a new release that she started rocking back and forth while speaking. It was a severe stim, one she usually masked. I was at work, monitoring her upload on my lunch break. The first 20 comments were great. Then I saw it. User_88492. Why does she move like a freak? Is she glitching? Cringe. Toxic gamer. Bro needs a straitjacket, not a toy collection. Sarah smiles so uncomfortable to watch. Make it stop. Panic seized my chest. I scrambled to report the comments, my fingers slipping against the glass of my phone screen. I tried to type out a defense from my Monster Hugs 99 account, but more cruel comments were pouring in. A larger creator had apparently mocked her video on a stream, and his followers were swarming her page. I left work early. I sped down the highway, my knuckles white on the steering, while running through a dozen scenarios in my head. How do I protect her without exposing that I know about the blog? When I burst through the front door, the house was dead silent. Willow. I called out. No answer. I ran up the stairs. Her bedroom door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. The HD camera was shoved into the corner, unplugged. The ring light was face down on the carpet. Willow was curled into a tight ball on her bed, her weighted blanket pulled entirely over her head. I sat on the edge of the mattress. I didn't touch her. She hated light touch when she was overstimulated. I just let my weight sink into the bed so she knew I was there. Bad day? I asked quietly. From beneath the blanket, a muffled, wet voice cracked. I'm deleting it. All of it. Your channel? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. They're right. I'm weird. I'm a freak. I forgot. I forgot how to act normal for 5 minutes and they reminded me. My blood boiled. I wanted to hunt down every single person behind those anonymous keyboards. But I forced myself to take a deep, stabilizing breath. People who mock someone for being happy are usually incredibly miserable themselves, I said. You aren't a freak, Willow. You are passionate and thorough and incredibly knowledgeable. You don't understand, she sobbed. You don't know what it's like. You just go to work and talk to people and you're normal. I thought I finally had friends. But it was just a joke. Not all of them, I ventured carefully. What about your regulars? The ones who always comment? They aren't joking. It doesn't matter, she said, pulling the blanket tighter. I'm never filming again. For 2 weeks, the camera collected dust. The comments on her last video turned into a battlefield. Her true fans were fighting back against the trolls, but Willow refused to open the app. The house grew quiet again. The humming stopped. The heavy, leaden sadness returned, settling over her shoulders like a physical weight. I couldn't stand it. I needed to fix it. One night, exhausted and desperate, I made a fatal mistake. I was sitting on the living room couch with my laptop. Willow was upstairs. I opened her YouTube page and logged into the Monster Hugs 99 account. I decided to write a long, impassioned comment about how much her videos meant to the autistic community, hoping that if she ever looked at the page again, she would see it. I spent 20 minutes drafting it. I poured my heart into it. I hit submit. Mom. I jumped. Willow was standing at the bottom of the stairs, holding a totally flat basketball. Do we have the air pump? I need it for gym class tomorrow. Yeah, I stammered, frantically reaching to close the laptop. It's in the garage. Hang on, let me look up where Dad put it before he moved out. I'll just look, she said, walking over. Your screen is open. Before I could slam the lid shut, she was beside me. She didn't look at the screen at first, but my sudden guilty flinch made her pause. Her eyes darted down to the glowing monitor. She froze. The screen clearly displayed her own YouTube channel. But in the top right corner, the profile picture wasn't my personal Gmail account. It was the little cartoon monster avatar. And right beneath the video, the comment box read, commented as Monster Hugs 99. The silence in the room became an absolute vacuum. I watched the realization wash over her features. First confusion, then a sudden, sharp clarity, and finally, profound devastation. Willow. I started, my voice failing me. You, she whispered. Her eyes darted from the screen to my face. Your Monster Hugs 99. Yes. But honey, You were my first subscriber. Her voice was entirely hollow. You were the one who asked me about the macaron series. You told me to keep going when I had 0 views. I wanted to support you. I saw how happy it made you, and I knew you wouldn't want me watching, so I just... Did you buy the camera? She asked. Her breathing was becoming shallow and rapid. The garage sale. Was that a lie? I swallowed hard. I bought it on eBay. I just wanted you to have good equipment. The headphones. I bought those too. She took a step back, as if the physical space near me was burning her. The betrayal in her eyes was something I will never, ever forget. For an autistic teenager who already struggled to decipher the intentions of the world, discovering that her one safe sanctuary was a meticulously orchestrated lie by her own mother was a catastrophic blow. It was all a lie, she said, her voice rising in pitch. The whole thing. The only reason anyone ever watched me was because you manipulated the algorithm. You pitted me. No. Willow, I swear, I was just the first one. The thousands of other people. They are real. They love you. Stop lying, she screamed, clapping her hands over her ears. Just stop. You're treating me like a stupid child. You knew I was a loser who couldn't make friends, so you bought me some. I hate you. She turned and sprinted up the stairs. Her door slammed with enough force to rattle the framed photos on the hallway wall. A second later, I heard the deadbolt click. I sat alone in the living room, the glow of the laptop illuminating the absolute wreckage I had caused. I had crossed a boundary. In my desperate need to cure her loneliness, I had stripped away her agency. I hadn't let her earn her confidence. I had engineered it. And now she questioned every single piece of reality. For the next month, we lived as ghosts. Willow stopped talking to me entirely. She communicated through sticky notes. Left on the fridge. Need milk. Out of toothpaste. Late practice today. When I tried to speak to her, she looked through me. She packed up her entire Labubu collection into 3 cardboard boxes and shoved them into the back of her closet. The blog was officially dead. The channel remained untouched. I tried apologizing a dozen different ways. I wrote her letters. I slid them under her door. I explained my exact motives, taking full accountability, begging her not to punish her passion because of my mistake. The letters were returned the next morning, unopened, sitting on the kitchen counter. I felt like I had broken my daughter permanently. The school called to say she was failing math, that she was sleeping during lunch. The small spark of life I had witnessed was thoroughly extinguished. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't fix this with a purchase, or a secret account, or a grand gesture. I had to let her heal, and I had to accept that I might never be allowed back into her inner world. Then autumn arrived, bringing the crisp October air. I was at the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon when my phone buzzed. It was an email notification from YouTube. I still had the Monster Hugs 99 account linked to my phone, though I hadn't used it since the incident. The notification read, Willow_Boo just uploaded a new video. I stopped my shopping cart dead in the middle of the produce aisle. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped a lemon. I unlocked my phone, put in one earbud, and clicked the link. The video loaded. It wasn't shot on the HD camera. It was shot on her laptop webcam, just like her very first videos. The lighting was terrible. Willow sat on her bed. The wall behind her, once lined with display shelves, was bare. She looked tired, but there was a fierce, hard set to her jaw. Hi, she said to the camera. Her voice was shaky but clear. I've been gone for a while. To be honest, I found out that my biggest supporter, my first fan, was my mom. I gasped aloud in the grocery store. An older woman beside me gave me a strange look, but I couldn't look away from the screen. She created a fake account to make me feel better about myself. Willow continued, looking directly into the lens. And when I found out, I felt like an idiot. I felt like this entire channel was a charity case. I put away my collection. I decided I was done. She paused, taking a deep breath. She reached down off camera and pulled up a single battered blind box. But yesterday, she said, I got a package in the mail. At a P.O. box I set up a long time ago. It was from a subscriber named Chloe. Chloe lives in the UK. She's 14. And she's autistic, too. Willow held up a handwritten letter, the edges crumpled. Chloe wrote to me and said that my videos were the only place she felt normal. She said that when people made fun of me, and I didn't come back, she felt like the bullies won. She sent me this. Willow opened the box. Inside was a customized Labubu. Someone had hand-painted it. It wasn't perfect. The paint was a little thick, the lines a little wobbly, but it was painted with a sunflower motif. My mom shouldn't have lied to me, Willow said, her voice dropping an octave, filled with a maturity that broke my heart. She stole my ability to trust my own success. But my mom didn't paint this toy. My mom doesn't live in the UK. My mom didn't write the 3,000 comments on my last video telling the trolls to back off. She placed the sunflower labubu gently on her desk. I'm autistic, Willow said, declaring the word like a shield rather than a burden. I flap my hands when I'm happy. I obsess over plastic designer toys. I sometimes struggle to make eye contact. But I built this community. Me, not my mom. And I'm not going to let the trolls, or my own embarrassment, take it away from me. She looked straight into the camera. So, which labubu should we talk about today? Tears streamed down my face in the middle of the grocery store. I didn't care. Who saw? I leaned against the handle of the shopping cart and wept. Tears of immense relief, of shame, and of overwhelming, bursting pride. When I got home, Willow was in the kitchen, pouring a glass of water. I walked in slowly. I didn't want to spook her. I saw the video, I said softly. She stopped pouring. She didn't turn around right away. I figured you would. You're probably still tracking my page metrics. No, I said honestly. I deleted the Monster Hugs account right after I watched it. It's gone. I promise you, I will never, ever interfere with your space. Again. Willow finally turned around. Her eyes were guarded, but the absolute wall of ice that had been there for months was showing cracks. You really messed up, Mom, she said. Her voice was steady. I know, I replied, taking a step closer, but stopping when she tensed. I am so sorry. I couldn't bear watching you be so lonely. It physically hurt me. But it wasn't my space to fix. You are so much stronger than I gave you credit for. Willow looked down at her glass of water. Chloe is real. I know she is. There's a convention, Willow muttered, almost too quiet to hear. Next month. In Chicago. It's called DesignerCon. Pop Mart is going to have a massive booth. Exclusive drops. My heart did a tiny flutter. Chicago is a 4-hour drive. I know. Are you asking me to take you? Willow looked up at me. She picked at the cuticle of her thumb, a nervous habit. I'm not ready to forgive you completely, she said with the blunt, brutal honesty that I had always secretly admired about her autism. It's going to take a long time before I trust you with my stuff again. I accept that, I said immediately. Whatever you need. But, she continued, I can't drive. And Chloe is flying in with her dad. And I want to meet her. I smiled, a genuine, trembling smile. I'll book the hotel tonight. A month later, the noise inside the Chicago Convention Center was deafening. It was a sensory nightmare. Flashing neon lights, booming bass from the vendor. Speakers, thousands of people packed shoulder to shoulder holding massive shopping bags. I watched Willow anxiously. She was wearing her noise-canceling headphones, the ones I had bought her, but her eyes were darting everywhere. Are you okay? I yelled over the din. Do you need a quiet room? She shook her head, gripping the straps of her backpack. I'm okay. The Pop Mart booth is in Hall B. We navigated through the sea of collectors. And then we saw it. The booth was gigantic, constructed like a massive pastel castle. And standing by the entrance, awkwardly holding a customized sign that read Willow's Boo Boos, was a girl with bright pink hair and a pair of ear defenders. Willow stopped dead in her tracks. I stepped back, giving her space. Willow slowly walked up to the girl. I couldn't hear what they said over the noise, but I saw the pink-haired girl Chloe drop her sign. I saw her pull a small, velvet-textured labubu from her pocket. Willow gasped. She reached into her own backpack and pulled out the sunflower labubu. Then, right there in the middle of 10,000 strangers, the two girls began to jump. They flapped their hands, they bounced on their heels, they laughed. With their entire bodies. They didn't mask. They didn't hide. They were entirely beautifully themselves. I stood 10 feet away, watching my daughter shine. A man holding a coffee cup bumped into me. Sorry, he muttered, then looked at the two girls. Teenagers, he chuckled, shaking his head. Weird, right? I looked at him. I stood up a little taller. No, I said, a fierce, unapologetic smile spreading across my face. They aren't weird at all. They're perfect. I watched Willow turn back to look at me through the crowd. She caught my eye. She didn't run over and hug me. That wasn't our way. But she held up her new toy, gave me a small, secret nod and smiled. It wasn't a smile I had manufactured. It wasn't a result of my secret comments or my carefully orchestrated praise. It was entirely, unmistakably hers. And it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen.